you're still coming from the BRCC meeting from yesterday.
Good
I
morning.
only went to 7:20 or so. Something like that. Are you sitting next to me now?
I don't know. No, I'm probably over there. I put my cup there.
Look at this, we got all fancy.
All right, good.
We've always had those.
Really?
Yeah, you just whiz in and out so fast you never see it.
Yeah,
But the fronts look different.
They're the same.
Seriously?
yeah.
I missed the intersection, just kept on driving to Inverness. I'm like,
Can I still use last year was an election year, chair year, and
No.
3 hurricane year
Which was the favorite?
excuse?
I had
No,
surgery
that's getting
on
old.
You're gonna have to find a new
in
one.
January. I screwed up the meniscus. Yeah, which they're, well, frankly, the hip, the other hip and knee feel good, so I'll take it.
No, okay.
Well, I just walked a couple miles this morning before the meeting.
What was hilarious, Terry, is that I was on time for my briefing on Monday and like half the staff wasn't at the table.
Oh my goodness.
You catch them off guard.
I did, because I'm always cruising in 5 minutes late. And none of this happened until about 2 years ago, and then I somehow, between back injury and running for office and blah, 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 I just forgot my adulting. Pardon? Yeah, I have an old back injury that flared up 2 years ago, and all of a sudden I was moving so slowly that I had everything, I have such a heavy schedule, I have everything down. It takes me this long to shower, this long to get in the truck, blah, 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 and everything was taking 15 minutes longer than it normally did, so took a
Because your
while
back's
to
been
adjust.
better?
My
You're
back
able to move
is,
faster?
I'm back to, well, partly have adjusted and mostly have gotten better where I'm back to sort of normal.
Saying your schedule settled down, or not really.
Speaking of someone who's fully fledged adult, can they loan me a pen?
Yes.
I'm sure there's one in the box.
Just gonna say, pickings are slim without request.
Oh my goodness, you two.
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Desai took one for the team and gave me his pen.
Oh, okay.
Do we have a quorum?
We do.
We do.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
Yeah?
Chris, I thought, yeah, Chris is here.
Chris is here, yeah.
We
Jackie
have
will
a
be here,
bonus.
she'll just be a few minutes
She
late.
got one.
Okay. Chris, are you behaving?
yes, I think so.
Okay, just checking.
Well, there's a behaving well, behaving.
Sometimes. Depends who you ask.
All right, we'll call this meeting to order of the Tourist Development Council. Today is March 12th, 2025 at 9 a.m. And our normal invocation person is not here. Jackie, who would like to give the invocation? Max?
Sure. Would you join me? Heavenly Father, we're here to do government, and we thank you for that responsibility and that opportunity. We're here to listen to the people and do the things with our tourism development, and especially our tourism development resources that will make us a better place to live. And we ask for your guidance, and we ask for your blessing, and we do this in your holy name. Amen.
Amen. That was particularly nice, Max. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, looks like we have oath of office next. Do you need a pen? Because they have extras.
All right, so today we'll be re-swearing in two of our reappointed board members, Max Schulman and Luann Jacobs. So whichever one of you wants to do the honor first, and come on up.
Come on down.
What's the grand prize?
Another lovely year on the TDC Council.
Another 4 years.
4, that's right.
Thank you. All right, so if you will just repeat after me. I, Luann Jacobs Wilcott,
I, Luann Jacobs Wilcott,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I do solemnly swear that I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution and government
the Constitution and government
of the United States
of the United States
and of the state of Florida,
and of the state of Florida,
and that I am duly qualified
and that I am duly qualified
to hold office
to hold office
under the Constitution
under the Constitution
of the state,
of the state,
and that I will well
and that I will well
and faithfully
and faithfully
perform and accept
perform and accept
the duties of a member
the duties of a member
of the Citrus County
of the Citrus County
Tourist Development Council,
Tourist Development Council,
on which I am about to enter,
on which I am about to enter,
so help me God.
so help me God.
And if you will just sign right there. Thank you. Oh, let me take this back. All right, next. All right, repeat after me. I, Michael
I-
Max Schulman,
Michael Max Schulman,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution and government
the Constitution and government
of the United States,
of the United States and the state of Florida,
and that I am duly qualified
and that I am duly qualified
to hold office
to hold office
under the Constitution
under the Constitution
of the state,
of the state,
and that I will well
and that I will well
and faithfully perform
perform
and accept the duties
and accept the duties
of a member
of a member
of the Citrus County
of the Citrus County
Tourist Development Council,
Tourist Development Council,
on which I am about to enter,
about which I am about to enter.
so help me God.
So help me God.
There you go. You can just sign right there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And then Mike Shoemaker was also recently reappointed, and we will re-swear him in at the next meeting since he was unable to attend today.
Michael Mankey.
Same.
Mike Shoemaker.
Mike Shoemaker.
Oh, Shoemaker, okay.
Yes.
All right, we got roll call.
Yes, ma'am.
Today is Wednesday, September 12th? September. Let me start over. Good morning. Today is Wednesday, March 12th, and this is the TDC meeting. And in attendance today, we have Commissioner and Chair Holly Davis, Vice Chairman Mike Inglis, Chris Ensing, Council Member, Jackie Hepner will be here, Dr. Paresh Desai, Luann Jacobs, and Max Schulman. We have a quorum.
We have a quorum without Jackie, though, right?
Correct.
Okay. We'll make a note for the record when she comes
Okay.
in. All right, election of vice chair. I'm not sure, rarely am I not in this seat, but who wants to run this shindig when I'm not? So
I think
looking
Mike
for
has done an
nominations.
outstanding job.
Yes, continue. I nominate him.
I second that.
Okay. Any board discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Did you actually vote on yourself?
I did say aye.
Okay, good. I want to make sure you voted, is the point.
I thought about dissenting, but
Okay, looking for approval of agenda?
so moved.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mike Engels, second by Max Schulman. Any board discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right, approval of minutes.
So moved.
Seconded.
Motion by Mike Engels, second by Max Schulman. Any board discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
We're apparently missing Jackie. on the automatic motions and
Oh, right.
seconds.
Oh, yes. All of this is typically what I call a speed round. Before I do open to the public, welcome to Eric Landon. I'm sure this board has been not particularly staff knows you, but these guys don't. Just on a personal note, I have immense respect for Mr. Landon as head of growth management. I'm not sure you know much about tourism, but your management skills are fantastic, so it's nice to work with you. So hopefully we'll get the everything wrapped up with Avis Cole this week. So that's what I hear. All right, open to the public. Would anyone like to address the board? You got 3 minutes. Definitely looking for something with interpretive dance. Okay. All right. Close open to the public. Presentations.
Yes. I will present.
It's March.
It is March. I got all this in your packet, but I did want to go over it and want to let you know, we have had the weather camera on the plantation and been the sponsor of that for the last several years in a partnership with them. Unfortunately, due to the conditions of the property, the camera was removed, and I quickly jumped at it because the thing you need to know is they only do 14 cameras in order to keep the ROI and the value of being a weather camera sponsor on WFLA. So I had to move kind of fast and try and see what was going on if they hadn't gotten rid of it, which they didn't. Thank God they didn't sell it to anybody else. So worked with Michael Mankey and the folks at Paddletail Lodge, and they have graciously said that they would like to have the camera on their hotel overlooking Kings Bay, which I think is going to be an even better shot than the plantations, especially at sunset, giving us probably more views than we might have had previously at the previous location. That being said, our initial spot of commitment was for $24,480, of which we paid immediately at the start of the budget year in full. Unfortunately, their Paddletail is not able to make, or will not be making as large of a contribution at this time to get the camera back and running before we have the opportunity, before we lose the opportunity to get it relocated. That being said, they have committed to just under $13,000, leaving a balance of $13,764, which is what we are asking for out of special projects today in order to get that camera replaced, reinstated, up and running. And with the program, there are a ton of other marketing opportunities. They will do a 30-second commercial for us at no cost, which is production, the whole works, which that in and of itself is an incredible value. They invite us, and we'll be attending their outdoor expos every year. We will also be having banner ads on their weather app as well as the news app, and we'll be rotating some of that with Paddletail as well, but then we will consume a larger percentage of the exposure. It will be the Discover Crystal boy, really having a hard day. The Discover Crystal River Weather Cam at Paddletail Lodge. It's a mouthful. Can't wait for the first weatherman to mess that one up. But so that's what we're asking for. Any questions?
What was the prior split with Plantation and?
Previously, Plantation was,
Looking for percentages. Was it 50-50?
Oh, no, it was more of a 70-30, and Plantation took on 70% of it.
Okay.
So we had the smaller portion. Moving forward, we'll take the larger portion, depending on what we negotiate with Paddletail for the next budget year's contract.
Okay. Because I would assume that the amount of exposure would be tied to the percent that you're paying.
Correct.
So if it's a 50-50 split, you each get half of the exposure,
Right.
or the emphasis, and if it's 70%, you get 70%, et cetera.
Correct, and that's our agreement internally with Paddletail as well. And so we've come to that agreement.
Okay. All right.
This money,
Is that written, I mean, is that in writing? I don't need to see it, but is that
It'll be
Or is
part,
it still being discussed?
it'll be part of the contract WFLA puts together for us, and that Paddle Tail and we sign, This 13,000 will be added to our media plan, and the contract will be done through Miles Partnership. So that'll be handled through Miles. They will negotiate the percentages and the advertising direction from there.
Yeah. And for the record, who owns Paddle Tail?
Dr. Desai.
Okay.
And I have no idea what this,
So from a legal perspective, I am not an attorney, but if this was BOCC, I believe I would have to recuse myself.
Oh, okay.
Because you have a direct financial implication, positive or negative, to a vote, you are legally required to recuse yourself,
And that would mean Dr. Desai as well.
which means we don't have
We do now have a quorum.
We don't have a
To
quorum.
vote
till
on
Jackie.
it.
Well, hold on.
A quorum is 5.
A quorum's 5, okay.
So we wait for Jackie?
No, we have a quorum.
Yeah,
One,
there's,
two, three,
there's
four,
6
five.
of us,
Oh. But doesn't Dr. Desai need to recuse himself
and
as
there's
well?
5, and
No.
5 is a quorum.
One,
I
two,
think
three,
that's
four.
what Holly was saying.
Yeah,
is she
Dr.
was
Des-
kind of
she
asking
can
Doctor
still
to
vote.
recuse
Oh,
himself.
you can still vote, okay.
Yeah.
I was using that as an example, that
Sorry,
if I have
I thought because of the,
like,
yeah,
last
okay.
night, we heard a case that abuts my neighborhood, but because I have absolutely zero financial, even if the optics are poor to some citizens,
Mm-hmm.
I legally have to vote if I'm there.
Gotcha.
So,
Well, it's okay, because Dr. Desai doesn't know what's going on with this anyways.
I think this is a really good value. I think we don't do a lot of TV, and it's something that gets watched, and the way they do it, you know, they're regular watchers, which is a whole bunch of folks that can drive up here. I think it's a great investment, and especially as we're still recovering from last terrible year, a fairly new business. If we have to help this year, I think that's a wise strategy, so.
Yeah. And we will be increasing our budget allotment for next year. We will be taking on the lion's share of the dollar amount for the next year's budget.
Yeah, I guess the fellow council members, I would kind of be inclined, rather than just on 75%, we have $2.5 million in special projects, just take on the whole thing. And then it's Discover Crystal River promoting the county. Because if we're paying 75% now, we have $2.5 million in special projects. Why not just do the whole thing and make it a pure county asset and not any individual business?
I'm
If they're
open,
willing to host it.
I'm
that
open
way.
to that, but that would mean that they get 0 promotion.
Well, the
Like,
way.
it can't be at Paddletail Lodge, it can't,
Right.
this is, Dr. Desai sits on this board, guys, this is not,
Right.
not okay, we have to be very clear, that's why I asked the questions about percentage split on who's paying for what and how much, promotion you get for the
Correct.
money. You have to be very careful about this stuff,
Right.
just for, honesty and transparency in government, and not self-dealing.
Yeah, I was just looking at the numbers. There's plenty of money there, the 13,000, or, yeah, 12,996.
Well, and especially when the exact verbiage they normally say is, you know, a name, and the name they're gonna say is Discover Crystal River, and then they say where it is specifically. They may not say Paddletail necessarily, but, you know, if they just say in Crystal River or on Kings Bay or whatever they wanna say. It's just if that's gonna be the policy, then that will continue if it gets moved somewhere else. And I do think it's a good investment, but on the other hand, that commercial entity and every other one that the doctor's involved in contributes significantly, so.
Yeah.
Fair. Yeah, I was just looking
Yeah.
at the numbers. There's plenty of money there.
It's cleaner, but as long as the breakdown is fair, I would not, breakdown of what they get from it, each entity gets from it. I would hate to unwind what staff has already done.
Okay.
Thank
I
you.
don't want to punish Dr. Desai for being on the board.
No.
I have no idea about what it is, but go ahead.
You become such a hotel magnate, you can't even keep all the details straight anymore. But I don't want to punish Dr. Desai for being on the board and take away an opportunity to be a a co-sponsor of this. To Mike's point, it is cleaner to just have it all be Discover Crystal River, but
Agreed, and we can look at that for next year and maybe discuss that with the general manager at Paddletail, that
Is it-
negotiation.
It's 50-50 now, kinda, right?
No, it's
Sort
more of a 70-30 right now, and it was 70% plantation paying for that amount. But what they've done is prorate the year starting in April,
So that's what makes it.
and that's why the entire package is about $74,000.
But you're saying
for
going
the whole year.
forward, you want to do at least, flip it, and we would do 70%
Yep,
or thereabouts.
yep,
I mean, anytime you can get somebody to pay part of a bill, I think it's always better.
right.
Me
And-
personally, I mean, regardless of whoever it is, and it gives, and we still get the advertising. I know a lot of people look at those, cameras from all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Especially people that come here, but they're not here all the time.
Yeah,
I don't know if we can have someone else pay a portion of that. I think it's better, it gives us money to spend someplace else, so.
collaboration's always good.
yeah.
Or mostly always
And
good.
that's really what we've been working on this
Yeah.
whole time anyways, creating good partnerships and doing co-op work
So
with people.
doing that way, but then looking at it with advance notice and a community discussion to look at it next year as something.
Sure.
that
So
we
you'll
can-
have to bring it back next year when the new contract comes anyway, right?
It'll be part of our budget moving forward, and that'll be approved by you all and the BOCC, so yeah, we can discuss it then.
Okay, any other board discussion?
I'd like to move that we proceed with the plan that she's discussed, the way it is currently structured.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Max Schulman and a second by Chris Ensing, is that correct?
Yeah.
Any further board discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0 with Dr. Desai dissenting, and please check with the county attorney to see if he needs to fill out a form. Thank you.
Thank you, Board.
All right, media report.
All right, oh, that's me again. All right. So, just for the record, I wanted to ask Board, you received all the information for the month of January, last month, that would have been the February TDC meeting. Would you like that information reviewed, or are you okay to move on and just do the month of February report? Thank you.
February's good with me.
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, so our January's STAR report. You can see that we're doing pretty well, actually. I've been really pleasantly surprised. The compression that
Not
we.
being rude, I could just see this one.
That's okay. Back of your hair looks really good, by the way.
Thank you.
I think the compression from the loss of the rooms at the plantation has certainly helped our fellow hotel partners. As a result, our occupancy has seen quite a jump over the last year's occupancy, as well as the ADR, which kudos to all our hotel partners for getting incredibly insane rates, nightly rates, and making that revenue flow in. So that's good news. Not a lot of red you see on the right side, percent change from January of '24. The red on ours are rooms availability, obviously. That 16% represents Kings Bay Lodge and the plantation. So not too bad for us having sit down 16% of our rooms. On the next slide, it's the year-to-date comparison. And you'll see pretty much the same story. It's looking really good. And if we go to our revenue numbers for collection now, I mentioned in the last one that we did do a correction. This is 3 months behind for the revenue. So we're going to be talking about November's revenue, which, wow, look at that. I mean, if we think about the September and October that we had, we've really come up and come back with a bang. I think our hurricane campaign really sparked this, and we're seeing some tremendous results. We're up 19% year over year than we were last year, so.
How
that-
much of that was the bump from rescue, like from
FEMA?
FEMA and?
We haven't received any numbers from FEMA yet. So we are not, the federal government has not shared any information. We also don't know at this point who's still in hotels, who's not. Those are all self-reported, and then the federal government, we can request the report as far as I know. But they have not volunteered any of that number yet.
Because 223, just about 1,000, 20% jump doesn't natively make sense to me, and except for the hurricane effect of not being tourists, but actually
Yeah.
people that are
Right, the bump in, that were, lost their
the
homes,
FEMA
yeah,
workers and all of that.
correct.
So the hotels are doing well, but the tour operators not so much in November. Is that accurate, Mike? For November?
That's what I was
Yours
hearing.
might be
And
since the
that
same as mine.
continues,
Today.
through February.
Is
know,
it
it's
still
lagging.
the case now, in March?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The days in is still 90 rooms out of the 106 are FEMA occupied. They don't know what happens after Friday until there's a budget, a new CR, so, but they're assuming that it's gonna continue into April or longer. And that's just their rooms, obviously, there's lots of other properties, but that's 100 or 90 out of the 13,000 we have in the county, so that's probably another, 5%, something like that, which,
Of those 90 rooms, how many are still being literally occupied? Because what I'm hearing, people just left some of their things there and,
well, they left, right, but they left things there, so they're not available to anybody else to stay in.
okay,
So whether they're physically there or not, the rooms are unavailable to the general public.
right.
And there's a fair number that people are there because I see grills and they've decorated windows and the outside doors and the school bus still stops there.
I'm sure they're
So
very
there's,
happy about that.
there's people there.
Right,
But, that's, so when it says the 16.1% is unavailable, that's true rooms unavailable. And then you've got unavailable to tourists is another X percent, which, whatever 90 over 13,000 is.
right. Keep in mind too, as far as the hotels go, because of the rate increases, the average ADR going up tremendously in a lot of the places like the Hampton Inn, the Paddletail, those places, they're charging plantation rates right now. So our revenue is, I feel that the revenue number reflects true numbers. But you're right, I have heard from other tour operators across Homosassa and Crystal River that it hasn't been as busy of a manatee season as the previous years.
No, and there's another reason, right? For, those of you that don't live it daily, last year Easter was early. Northern spring breaks tend to tie to when's Easter. Last year Easter was in March. So it was a very compressed manatee tourism season. This year, Easter's April 20th, so it's elongated. So last year was hot and heavy for the end of February and all of March. And then, April, it dropped off to nothing. This year, because of school spring breaks up north, it stretches out that season. So I would not expect my March numbers to match last year, even if we were running exactly the same for the year, because that's gonna stretch into April. So, that's part of it from the tourism industry side as well, it's just stretched out further.
Eric, you recall when FEMA did their presentation, do you remember me asking about the people leaving things in the rooms but not actually using them, and FEMA locking up? And that we were going, this was gonna put our tour operators and non-hoteliers in a really bad spot. The restaurants, all of those guys that depend on tourism. And they said they would get answers back to staff, and I never heard anything on that. So that might be something to bump Steve about, or you have FEMA contacts directly because you're working with them on the homes.
And Michelle as well in housing, she might have some more, I'll reach out and see
Yeah.
what I can find.
Yeah, on the personal side, I have one staff member who was displaced from the storm. They've been approved since October for a trailer. They still don't have it. And FEMA's basically said, don't call us, we'll call you. So they're hoping they actually get the trailer in May. So he's literally been living in a camper in somebody's yard since October.
So,
Terrible.
this is one of our major industries is tourism, and this is not good. So, it's gonna hurt folks.
All right.
And on that happy note, carry
Yes,
on.
sorry. Oops, help. So then, just to go back up to December, you can see the increase yet again, year over year. Some of this too, y'all to keep in mind, is the adjustment that I made because this is true number versus what I thought was only a 2-month lag is now a 3-month lag. So there's a little bit of a give and take in that as well. I have reconciled all the sheets, so all the years coincide now, but you're gonna see a little bit of that as well. For my real job, sales and marketing, January and February were crazy busy for me. I had,
That's a cute shot of you at the top right.
oh, yeah.
In action.
No, that was not staged. Although it was taken with my camera, oddly enough. You see that I had the travel adventure shows in Atlanta and New York City. Those were the totals. Atlanta, unfortunately, was only attended by 14,000 people. That was due to the winter storm of 2024 or 25 in Atlanta, where it shut the whole city down pretty much. So Saturday was a wash, and 14,000 people showed up on Sunday when the roads were clear. New York City was just shy of 50,000 people. Then off to the Visit Florida Huddle, where I had 42 one-on-one meetings with product managers and buyers. Those went really well, very enthusiastic. You'll be happy to know that we are already touting the new hotels that are coming up, and everybody's chomping at the bit for those to be completed. That would be, of course, the Fairfield Resort that's coming up, the Mitel, the Home 2 Suites, and the Hampton Inn and Homosassa. So they're just, as soon as those open their doors, they want to know, and they're going to try and fill them. So that's great news.
Who does the kayaks?
That was Paddle Outdoors, and that's a Sunset Glow kayak tour that they have just started. I think that was only their second tour that they had done, and I took the Brazilian fam tour out on that. It was
Nice shot.
incredible.
Is that Pete's Pier?
Yeah, they leave out of Pete's Pier. And Casey, Casey's Kayaks also does those as well.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I went from that to the Tampa RV show, which was 6 days, and saw 61,000 people come by my booth and handed out tchotchkes and magazines and let them know all about our lovely area. And then the Brazilian fam tour, which you see there were 9 product managers and 1 Visit Florida rep, all from different parts of Brazil, which was great. And boy, they just ate it up. They loved it here, and they're going to be selling a lot of our stuff. And we went all over. Unfortunately, they were only here for 2 days, and it was a whirlwind. So we just got to do the highlights. But most of them said they'll be back and want to see the rest of the county. All right, Alyssa, you are up.
Should I come up?
You don't have to.
Okay, I'll stay here.
Okay.
So I'll go over January, but really quickly. I just wanted to mention the umbrella post that I did on Homosassa. That's up to 450,000 views, so it's still growing, as well as the manatee video that was shared. That's over 600,000 views, and it started out at 75, and it just keeps on growing. And then you guys have seen all of these in January, so we can kind of go past them. Sorry. And then that's our. And then we did well in January because in December because obviously December and January because it's It's manatee season, so all of our numbers were up. And then if you can go to over 5.5 million impressions there, and we can go on. Keep on going. Okay, so here we go. So these you've seen these, but I haven't gone over them. Okay, so I did a post about the crab plant, and that did really, really well. Currently, we are over 300,000 views, so hopefully that got some new customers for them. And then on the far right, I did a post about, it's the bucket list of Citrus County. So I did a post for the west side, and I did a post for the east side, and both of them did really, really well. This one's still growing. We're over 135,000 views. And then we hit 40,000 followers on Instagram, so that was really nice. And again, from January to February, we're in manatee season, so our numbers are really good. We had over 3 million views on Facebook. We did really well on Instagram with almost 130,000. Our stories did well. Yeah, we're holding steady.
Was Visit Amelia Island used to be right behind us, so New Smyrna Beach jumped? Do you think they're doing
Yeah,
the
there
same thing
was-
as a competition here?
There
on their
was a
reports?
little bit of a movement in our competition, but as long as we just stay in that second spot, I'm fairly happy. Florida Historic Coast,
They've narrowed it though, based
yes,
from the previous month.
yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. No, I mean, they're on our tail. I'm not going to say they're not, but
Pedal faster, Al. Just pedal faster.
yeah. Listen, I get worried every time I look at those and I have to put the numbers up there. Trust me. I cross my fingers. Okay. So I just wanted to mention, I don't know if you guys saw, but we did a romantic getaway giveaway. It was quite successful. And I just wanted to list some of the partners that were part of this. And then we had 2 weeks from February 14th to February 28th. Over, I think it was 3,000 people entered. And we do have a winner, a young mom from Alabama, who's one of our top fans on Facebook, though she has never been to Crystal River. So they are very, very thrilled to win. And I'll be doing posts about them when they come and redeem the prizes.
That's awesome.
It was a very fun, and it was great to get the partners involved, and hopefully we'll have another one of these in maybe the fall. That's what I'm thinking of. So it was very successful. It was nice to give back to our fans. We do have fans. And then I just wanted to mention something. This is on our website now, as well as I did a couple of posts. I mentioned it a little bit earlier. We have Citrus County's bucket list. That was one of the first pages in our visitor's guide. And so what I did was I wrote a blog, a companion blog, to go into more detail about the bucket list, and that's on our website now. And then I created a QR code to go on a flyer that's being handed out at our walk-in visitor center. It seems that our visitors like that. It's kind of all in one place, bucket list, like what not to miss. And then I created 2 posts, one on the east side, one on the west side, that linked to the blog. So people could find out more about, things that are important to see when they're visiting. So wanted to just mention that. And is that it? No. And then, sorry. And then this month we did, well again, over 2.5 million impressions, so that did well. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about our Fox 35 segment. So we went out to Homosassa to push them because they weren't, doing that great after the hurricanes. And so Fox 35, David Martin, we went out on a boat and we, it focused all about snorkeling with manatees in Homosassa, and it got over 2 million impressions. And so it did really, really well. And when I was on the boat with David, I mentioned Inverness, and so we'll talk about that next month, but they came to Inverness. I pushed Inverness, told them how charming it was and how wonderful it was, and they fit us in, and they came by a couple of weeks ago, so we'll talk about that next month. And then we just did really well, Fox 35, almost over 280,000 impressions, and then we stays and getaways did really well. Thank you. And then these are our fam tours. We had a very, very, very busy month with fam tours in February. Kelly and I and Terry were all over the place and had a lot of content creators, media. Now there is one here that it says February 24th, West Palm Beach TV. They did not come that day because it was pouring, and they are coming this month on March 24th, so I'll report on them after they're here. And the Hawking family, they just left last week, and they are a very big influential family content creator and influencers. We were lucky to get them. They have 260,000 followers alone on Instagram, and they're already creating content for the Cove. They live in a school bus, and so we had them stay at the Cove, and they visited Inverness and Crystal River. And so the next couple days will be a lot of their content. And that's it, I think.
Are we getting any pushback on the international?
We have not felt it yet. In the tourism and the professional reports that I see coming from U.S. travel, there has been a decrease and a cancellation of flights in and out of the U.S. from Canada. As far as the other areas, I've not been reading anything, but Canada is the one that's reacting more immediately. Don't have any numbers yet.
Because that's a threat that we need to be ready for.
Yeah.
Because I believe 20% of our tourism has typically been international, other than.
That is correct. And we
other
had
than
just regained
lockdowns.
that percentage back from COVID, so.
Yeah.
Isn't a lot of our international tourism closer to our shoulder seasons than winter? Not Canadians are certainly winter.
Right.
You know, the snowbird effect. But
I mean, who wants to be in Canada during
right.
the winter?
But I typically think, you know, my
Unless you
European
escape.
guests are mostly in the fall.
A lot of them are in the January is a large month for travel for international, the European countries, and then also in August. Again, the European countries, that's when they all have their national, you know,
Right.
you got to take a vacation off for a whole month. I want to go live there because of that. But yeah, so shoulder seasons are big, but they're pretty consistent numbers throughout. I used to be able to say, I challenge you to get on a manatee tour and not hear a foreign language. So
Yeah,
that hasn't come back
I
yet.
haven't seen that
Yeah.
recently, and it just
Yeah.
maybe who we're bringing in. But we've had a fair number of Canadians recently. So.
Yeah, we've had a couple in the Welcome Center as well, so. I think it's yet to be determined what the effects will be, but it's not positive.
That's what I'm seeing on social media a lot, is that
I came in here in a really good mood, y'all brought me down.
it's all my fault. Okay, anything else?
Yeah,
from
we got Kelly
staff?
to give us our, oh, sorry, are we done?
I'm done, yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, so since we last reported in the beginning of January, we've seen visitors from 29 states, so that's over a 2-month period. Florida being the top, like usual, and then New York, Indiana, and Pennsylvania all kind of came in tied for that third position. And then for international travel, Canada was the most that we saw. And then Scotland, Germany, France, England, Sweden, Belgium, and the UK. So, and with that being said, I also would like you to meet Stephanie. She is going to be taking over the Welcome Center, so.
Hi, Stephanie, welcome.
Thank you.
So your plans to expand on Monday when the city moves out?
We are having a party.
No offense, Chris.
No, I was gonna mention that. I figured you'd be in a good mood to get your space back. And
Actually, we're actually planning a luncheon with the folks there to say goodbye, because we are gonna kind of miss them, and, you know, seeing everybody on a daily basis, so. But,
And
yeah,
what-
it'll be nice to have our Welcome Center back.
And Kelly, what will you be doing?
Well, I work with FAM Tours. I've been doing
Okay.
both of them for 9
Kelly's our visitor and partner. What's your official title now?
Destination Experience Specialist.
That's what it is, Destination Experience
I work with
Specialist.
FAM Tours and stuff.
Okay.
And she also is our medium now with the partners and Partners in Tourism. She's our liaison to our industry partners.
I'm pretty
in
sure I
the
should
county.
know all of this, but my head gets a little full sitting on this many boards.
It's okay. It's all right.
Ask me about the dead people board,
No, don't care, don't want to know.
otherwise known as
Yeah,
the
she's
medical
on the
examiner
Medical
committee.
Examiners Board.
Oh, my goodness.
They're just not as lively.
What did you just say?
Nothing.
Kat, could we roll that tape back? All right, staff all done?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, any city reports? Jackie is not here, so you're gonna have to make it up for Inverness as well.
Okay, I can't say anything about Inverness. I did go there and went.
Tom's here.
Did go
Tom's here.
bowling, it was great. So, no, the only thing I wanted to mention was you guys are getting your offices back, which is great. The city's happy. I think we made a good decision, it kind of fell in our laps and we were able to move now to the exit building, or half of it, right? Then there are two, we get one building. And made a really good deal for that. They got furniture. I think you didn't have to do I say didn't have to do a whole lot. I didn't have to do anything. You guys did everything, but they're happy, so they'll be in the new offices, and then you all get your places back, and hopefully they didn't wreck it, or, you know, so. And,
It's just cozy.
yeah, that's about it. And, you know, the city's moving forward with the stuff that we're working on. Hopefully, we're getting closer to removing that. We're getting the ugly building at 579 under wraps, so we're still,
I'm just
Working.
shocked that they're planning to basically they're gonna redevelop the shell, right?
their plan is they have an idea that they can take out sections of it, take the two bigger portions and flood-proof it, and they say that they have at least two national retail places that are gonna go in there that will take that space if they can do it. So we're still hammering out all the details, so that they can kind of make the city whole. on
Is that
what
built
we've
in the
been-
'70s?
I believe so. It's been there a long time. I think so, yeah.
I'm not really sure that building was all that. The buildings that have lasted hundreds of years seems to be a theme of hundreds of years ago.
Well, it's a pretty commercial red metal building. I mean, there's a substantial steel. The two big ones that are not the very end one on the left, they're pretty substantial buildings.
Mhm.
So they had an engineer inspect it, said that they had no problem with it, and they're gonna, their plan is to redo it, so let's hope that happens.
How are
We're
the
ready.
restaurants and so forth doing? What is the feeling post-hurricane with the?
So, Kane's Cattle Company, I believe, is getting ready to reopen. So, which is good news. It seems like the rest of them are doing pretty good. The city just had a Hurricane Hero soiree thing. We gave out, I don't know how many certificates. 35. And it was really good. It was a great thing to kind of revisit that and see how many people showed up to help. So that was good. And I guess that's it. When we're making still progress with the river walk. We're getting really close. My company has a project for the crab plant that we're supposed to be doing. We'll have those permits pretty soon. And that's, I think, also gonna help with the river walk, and they're pretty excited about what they're doing there. So, all in all, I mean, I think we're making some progress.
Good. Tom, would you like to come to the mic and give an Inverness report? No?
That would be the part before the vote.
Okay. Any other business by council members? Mike?
Yeah, I sent an email to Terry and Eric, just wondering, and not picking at old scabs, but hoping that it heals over. We had paid a bunch for the 3D, or the IV stuff, and got into the the hiccups on the distribution of it at the zoos. And I understand that, and I know why the BOCC withheld the $50,000 from it and associated with the deployment at Columbus Zoo. But what was new to me, and maybe I was told and just forgot, was Mild pulled back the rights to that IV stuff, and we no longer have access to it.
Just to be clear, it's Madden Media.
Oh, Madden, sorry, got two M's. Yeah. Thank you for, especially people watching. Yeah.
Well, if we stuck them with the bill,
Right, but I think we paid substantially more than 50,000 for that creative. Like, I'm thinking it was 150,000 or
Yeah.
better. And because we didn't pay that other bill, we've now lost that asset. And I don't know if that's worth revisiting, or if we can pay them the 50,000 for the IV, the asset, or something, but we've essentially thrown away a whole bunch more money associated with it, and we don't have those assets.
And-
So I wasn't aware that we didn't have the assets. I didn't know if the rest of the council was aware.
I didn't know either, and
So I just want everybody to know.
we would need in my mind, we would need a clear path to how we're going to deploy the asset
Right.
before I can make an argument to do that. The other thing would be, there is some question as to if there was any culpability whatsoever in Madden in not putting forth invoices that were as clear as they would normally be, but that was at the behest of the prior director.
Right.
So, I can make an argument, I said it at the time, I can make an argument both ways, but,
Because where my mind was going, it was on the website. We're doing some of the trade shows, and I've been to some other trade shows, and you go into the booth, and some of them have, the 3D headsets and things like that, that it could be an asset just to use at the trade shows, even if it is viewable on a phone. You have a QR code, and people can experience it, and it makes the booths and just more interactive. Well, everybody does want to talk to Terry.
And in the visitor center when it's not deployed.
Well, but I think it's digital, so it can be in multiple places at a time. So I think there would be ways we could use the asset if we had access to it. We made an investment. I hate to see that money gone. So.
I'll, obviously, I can't talk to any board members, separately, but I can talk to staff and see where we go with that.
I will look into see what the possibility would be in using it moving forward, and what that might look like, and if we can use it in a way other than just on the phone, and then maybe use it for trade shows at a virtual, goggle thing or something like that. So let me come up with some.
Even if it's a QR code or a screen
Sure,
there.
right. Let me come up with some options, and I'll get back with you, and I'll email you what those might be.
Thank
Mm-hmm.
And we can go forward.
Yeah, just spitballing, but
Yeah.
I didn't remember or know that we lost
I
that
don't think
asset.
it was ever brought up, because I didn't know that either,
Yeah.
so.
So I just wanted everybody else to be aware.
Just also to let you know that is the only thing that they held back. We do have all of our assets from them over the years of our contracts with them. They did turn those over to Miles Media, so that is the single thing that has been held back.
Which is, I understand the reasoning behind
Yeah.
that, but, it might be a, negotiating point too,
Right.
to not pay the whole 50, but half, because they're, like I said, I don't wanna get into the legal aspects of it, but. Okay, Dr. Desai, do you have anything?
No, thank you.
Luann, you wanna give any updates on Inverness too?
Inverness just had a great Joe Bega Classic Blues and Barbecue Bass Tournament. It was great, very well attended.
Wonderful.
They're working on getting ready for the bike tour, the Bike Fest that's coming up. And then I know the Valerie was sold out for 2 weekends in a row with a play. It was a great play.
Which play was that? Please don't tell me it was the one with the singer,
Wedding singer. It was great.
My friend was the lead in that, and I didn't go.
It was awesome. It was really, really good.
You just outed yourself in public there on that one.
Yeah, it was,
I actually really wanted to go to that, but
It was
just-
sold out, you couldn't get tickets. It wasn't your fault.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
your
it
story
was-
and you're sticking to it.
No, I actually really wanted to go.
No, you missed it.
Great, awesome. The schedule's a little nuts.
I have three things on my I want to keep tracking list. My first one is I want to make sure we are moving in the direction of whatever it takes to do our own bed tax collection in our county rather than using the state, because the more I've looked into it, the more plain old money you get.
I have an update for you on that. Prior to recent events, I was charged with investigating softwares that will do just that and companies that can assist us with that. And I have come up with 3 companies that we can choose from. I'm just sort of waiting right now for whatever happens to settle, because it's above my pay grade to make the final decision on that and bring it to you all. So, but I have actively found 3 companies I feel confident would be able to get us there, and they all work with government entities, and that is precisely what they do. Not just the hotel revenue, the campgrounds and RV parks, and the VRBOs and Airbnbs and Flipit and all the other ones.
And I know we all have worked hard on getting more data so we can do fact-based decisioning.
Yeah.
But that one, I mean, is just, we're leaving money on the table when we let the state do that.
Yes, sir.
So I'm hoping we'll hear the next step next time then. The second one, and Mike and I have brought this up a bunch of times, but I would like to, again, put it on the table that we need to track the number of short-term rentals that are being done without taxes being paid, specifically Airbnbs. There's indications that it's as high as 85% of the folks that are doing Airbnbs are not paying. Some of them don't even know they have to pay. Some of which are not really, shouldn't be doing Airbnbs because of where they are zoning-wise in regular neighborhoods. So I really think we need to put that on the list of things to track on. There are agencies that provide that data. You can buy Airbnb data directly. You may already be doing that.
All the companies that I just spoke about, that's precisely what they do as well.
Okay.
So that'll be all in one big package.
Good,
Yeah.
okay. Because it's the same thing. We can't afford, despite the fact we're in good shape on money, the county needs more money and there's not places to get it. And then the third thing, I've been, from the years that Tom and I sat out in the audience, an advocate on trail tourism, and y'all do a good job. But the things that look like they will happen in our economy in the next couple of years, and candidly, the things that will happen when the next pandemic hits. And I in another life, I did pandemic planning, and there's a cycle, and it's going to happen again. Trails and things that are inexpensive are really important. And there's a whole bunch we could do on a trails campaign that does hiking, biking, birding, paddling, and horse trails, where we can market not just the tremendous set of trails we have in our county, but those that are easily reachable from our hotels, and particularly the reaching into Levy and Marion County from the things along 19, and reaching south, of marketing those trails. And yesterday I led a paddle down on the Withlacoochee from Silver Lake Campground, about 5 miles down. There's a whole different Withlacoochee down there, and at the same time from a hotel in Inverness, it's a 24-mile drive. So being able to market that you can have really meaningful destination experiences at a cheaper price than you can in other places. If we couple that with growing more certified guides and creating inside our economy a way that residents that work here can benefit from it, we can be postured for a much less disastrous 2026. So,
Thank you.
and I know that's all going to roll into the strategic plan, because Avis and I have talked about it a lot, but I want to see it present and tracked, if that's okay.
May I present a couple of other updates for you?
Of course.
Okay, the strategic plan, the surveys, we've got a great, we've received about 80% of them back and completed. We are going to, we've put pause on the next steps, which would be to have the meeting with you all and have him present and have a workshop with you all. We're waiting on that to see what happens moving forward with the director. And then also, one of the things, Mike, also in that email that you asked about was the scalloping, and I just wanted to let you know, at next meeting, May 14th, I will have 2 biologists from U.S. Fish and Wildlife here to discuss scalloping, how they're gonna start tracking it, if at all, and what they anticipate the season looking like, things like that. So if you have any questions, maybe come prepared with some written questions down, and they'll be happy to answer them.
Just to comment on the survey, they do a really good job on following up. I have this personal rule that if I get a survey and it has a point where it tells me something is mandatory, I stop doing the survey. I stopped doing it, and 2 days later I got an email from them that said, "You're almost done, could you please go back? This is really important to us." So I made an exception to my rule that don't tell me something I choose to do is mandatory, and finished it. But it was a nice email, so
Good, thank
they're
you.
following up.
And I believe I was supposed to fill that out and did not, but no one's been.
There's still
hassling
time.
me.
There's still time.
You said 80 or 80%?
80%.
That's really high.
Yeah, it
That's
is.
good.
We've had a really good response rate.
I
Well,
just wrote it on my massive to-do list.
excellent. I think one of the reasons why we're getting such good responses is the list of people that we sent it to was really handpicked. We didn't just, throw spaghetti at a wall. We picked people that we knew had input and were wanting to give the input and had things to say.
Luann, how's the Cove doing?
Cove's doing great. We're setting records every week.
Awesome.
It's just
Can't
been.
get in the parking lot.
I know, it's just been nuts. It has been nuts. I do have a question. When I came in, Terry, I overheard you talking about how when you have done these trade shows that you're doing, that you're out of pocket like $400 because your budget isn't enough for meals and that type of thing.
Yeah, January was particularly, you saw how much traveling I did, so that was particularly hard. The issue is the county per diem. It's just part of it's just what it is. It hasn't been changed in 20 years. I get $6 for breakfast, $11 for lunch, and $19 for dinner, no matter where I go, with the exception of European countries, and then I can do the federal GSA.
So is there some way she can turn in receipts and be reimbursed for her actual expenditures? I mean, if we're sending her to New York City, you can't get a breakfast for $6.
Oh, yeah, so
Yeah, so I mean, that's not fair.
commissioners have the same pain, I mean, I went to DC with Veronica, and it was $35 for breakfast, and we get basically $35 a day, so, I paid for Veronica's breakfast just to help out, but, it's rough, and I thought that was based on state or federal guidelines. I don't think it's.
Florida statute
Yeah,
is
it's
what,
Florida
yeah.
statute.
There are counties that will make exceptions and allow you to use the federal GSA. There are counties that do that for the tourism boards, just given the amount of travel that they do outside of other departments in the county, so that's all I'm saying.
There's no way you can come up with a line item on the budget that when they have these extra expenses that can be paid.
Current political environment, probably not.
Aren't there counties that actually have a Friends of organization, Friends of Tourism, that make donations, grants and things?
Not to my knowledge. I know that one of the things one of the positives of being a nonprofit and being a 501c outside of being a county government agency is that, you have the ability to reimburse your staff for these type of expenses.
Yeah, I'm scheduled to go to Dallas in 10 days if we can get the flights and stuff arranged. And when Christina sent me the form, my response back was, it was a crime. I didn't care about me going to Dallas for 2 days, but knowing the staff that travels, the reimbursement's less than what I got 20 years ago on federal. And there's other things in that policy, and I guess it's Florida statute, but I guess it's possible for the county to override and set their own policies.
Well,
But the GSA one gets adjusted every year based on inflation. And, it's a crazy number. I mean, but my response back to Christine was, it was a crime.
well, it's not just a crime, though. If we're serious about competing for the best tourists and for the most money, then those presents are very important and they're a good investment. When you underinvest, you can expect less return.
And it's about employee retention, too.
So,
Okay, I agree with 100% of everything that was just said. But we just got a report yesterday from our legislative guy that works for this county on how many bills have been filed for this year's Florida session that are basically eradicating home rule, meaning we're gonna be told what to do by the state, and one of them is basically going through and auditing every single county by the end of this year and mandating cuts.
Well, here's the strange thing, though. If we hired folks to go, and we have the money and we have the vehicles to do it, to go represent us, we would pay their real expenses, and there would be a profit added on it. There's a lot of people right now that want to absolutely minimize government blindly, and sometimes government is more efficient than contracting out. But if it isn't, then we need to start writing a contract for some of the expensive places so that we can be well represented and not be burdening employees financially, basically reducing their salaries.
Yeah, I can have a conversation with Steve Howard about this, and see if it's something we can bring forward, but I'm just telling you, the politics are pretty scary right now.
Well, but there literally would be no politics in adding to our budget, some local company that's hired that has expertise that we go through a competitive thing to represent us at certain high cost areas. But then we'll just pay the money and put some profit on top of it.
Yeah.
It's not efficient.
is there anything we can or should do as TDC members or just citizens without making it worse? And maybe not an answer this minute, but
I have we're starting to talk in circles on this a little bit. I agree that it is not okay what staff is reimbursed for travel. I get that. I totally get that. I'll see what I can do, talking to Mr. Howard.
okay, fair.
So it's a little scary right now. Okay, again on a bright note.
Jeez.
Would anybody else like to say anything? Okay, now open to the public, and I'm definitely looking for interpretive dance.
You don't want this trust in your audience, sing and dance, I know. I'm Marty Johnson. I volunteer, I wanted to finish this on a bright note. I volunteer at Three
Please.
Sisters. All right. The manatees are still here. Now, I've been here 4 years, and that's really unheard of. Maybe Mike can talk a little bit more to that. But hopefully, we're gonna see a bump, because with all the manatees we still have, and it's because of this cold weather, which means people aren't going to that beautiful beach you guys just put in at Fort Island Trail. But anyway, if you want to see manatees, and everybody talks about them, this is still the time. It's so cool to see them still here. Last year, they were gone by mid-February. The year before, I think, early February. So it just neat to be out there again and see them, and hopefully it's going to bring some people in, and hopefully that's gonna help our tourism numbers, so anyway, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Marty.
Anyone else? Oh, there's a dance.
The leg's not working. It fell asleep.
It's the
Okay.
sleepy leg
It
dance.
is.
Well, I didn't know if you were doing a lane from.
No, the right leg won't work. The toes are tingling. That's my interpretive dance. All right. Allison Pinkston, Christopher Main Street. What about some creative finance where she would get a new contract that would say she would get a bonus for every overnight she spent out of Citrus County? That would then represent the funding that doesn't go towards a stipend or reimbursement, but it would help offset the cost of her overnights.
Okay. I'll talk to Mr. Howard.
Yeah. Just saying, I like to be creative. That's my husband, he loves it. Girl math.
This is really how our meetings go most of the time.
Okay, now at least we're laughing and smiling at the end of this. I do want, please make sure that the minutes reflect that we only had 6 attendees, not, Jackie did not show up, and I hope she's okay. Someone can check on her.
Absolutely.
All right.
I don't know if you care about this, I won't be able to attend the next meeting in May, so I'll be gone. That way, make sure that somebody else can come, does come, so we do have a quorum.
Okay, we'll be sobbing.
Okay, well, I know you, well, I wanted to hear about the scallop report, so.
Doesn't Crystal River, didn't they determine an alternate?
She's not a.
Oh, that's
Oh, she's
correct.
not a
I'm sorry.
voting member.
Oh,
That's right.
she would have to be sworn in, or she can't be because she's just an alternate? So she can attend, but it doesn't change her, okay.
But somebody could represent the city
Well, I
and
will,
report back.
I'll still make sure, she wants to attend, so I'll make sure at least she's here, but just letting you know.
Who's your alternate?
Gabrielle Satchel.
Okay. Tom, are you an alternate? For,
I don't know that
is there an
everyone else has
alternate?
designated
for-
one.
Should probably happen. So,
I do have one other note from my employment side, from the book side. Our 4-year quest to describe the Cross Florida Greenway and the historic Barge Canal. The book is done, and as part of our marketing, I'm going to be going to the TDCs in Levy County, Marion County, and Putnam. Well, Putnam doesn't have a TDC, but they have the Chamber of Commerce work for it. And I will be very clear that I am not representing the TDC, but I will inform them that I'm a TDC member when we're presenting the book and looking for marketing outlets, primarily bookstores and gift shops like we are represented in here.
cool.
So,
All right. Anything else? All right, our next meeting is Wednesday, May 14th, 9 a.m., right here, and we are adjourned.